Harry, nous sommes solidaires de ce petit désagrément-là. Et toutes nos excuses à notre bien aimable audience. Vraiment, la technologie nous a un peu trahis, on s'est trompé de lien. Toutes nos excuses, et c'est ce que nous sommes. Nous faisons l'update, la mise à jour des liens que nous avons envoyés à nos amis dans les différents forums.
Oui. Et je constate aussi que on a déjà Mimi Mefo Info qui est déjà avec nous.
Tout à fait.
On est en train de partager avec
nous. Et aussi, Harry, c'est toujours l'occasion de dire merci à Kingsley qui nous met toujours rapidement à disposition les liens des autres plateformes parce que ceux qui n'arrivent pas, et ils sont très nombreux, ceux qui n'arrivent pas à se connecter sur ce direct le samedi parce qu'ils ont des activités familiales, ils suivent souvent l'émission à travers les plateformes de Mimi Mefo, de Rebecca et autres. Donc, Kingsley, chapeau, chapeau, chapeau. Mimi, hi. Et puis, bienvenue, Harry, bienvenue chez toi.
Merci. So, fellow Cameroonians, brothers and sisters, we are going through very exciting times in the history of this movement, Project C, but also in the history of our country, Cameroon. In the last week, this week, we launched essentially this ambitious and relevant project, announcing to the Cameroonian population our intention, our desire to organize this national dialogue, essentially, this broad-based conversations with Cameroonians about the kind of Cameroon that they want, all with a goal to design to redefine who we are as a nation and leading to the draft of a constitution that we can propose to Cameroon and Cameroonians that we hope will be the solution to the many crises that we have seen in the last 65 years. But even more importantly, will create a new pathway for a prosperous future for the next generation of Cameroonians. That's what we have done this week. And we really want to spend this time sharing with you an update of what we have done. And then more importantly, focus on what we're going to be doing in the next month, and the next week, and the next month. And we may invite a few other people to join us and who are involved in the project on the ground in Cameroon to share some thoughts on what they are doing to support this. I'm going to pause here so that Leopold can take this in French for our French-speaking audience, and then after that we'll talk about what we accomplished in the last week and then what we're going to be doing in the next week.
Oui, merci Harry. Nous allons maintenant mettre l'accent sur ce que nous avons préparé pour la très importante, et nous la trouvons pertinente parce que unique, la très importante campagne que nous voulons engager pour demander aux Camerounais quel genre de Cameroun nous voulons, quelles sont nos valeurs, quelles sont nos références, sur quoi est-ce que nous devrions insister pour pouvoir éviter dorénavant de retomber dans les travers que nous avons eus, les crises multiformes qui secouent notre pays en ce moment. Et donc, nous allons présenter déjà ce sur quoi nous avons travaillé jusqu'à présent et puis retracer le chemin que nous allons suivre dans les prochaines semaines et les 3 prochains mois, quoi. Donc, voilà un peu.
Merci beaucoup. But first, I may want to, Leopold, if you don't mind, we'll bring in Eric to just give us a resume of the week in the context of the.
Tout à fait, parce que Eric a ses radars et ses antennes un peu partout. En tout cas, il est mieux informé que nous, ça c'est clair.
Well, that's why he's the journalist, right?
Voilà.
Because he has
over to you, Eric.
He has the network.
I realized I didn't have this on. Anyway, great to be here finally, and it's amazing, how the technology has become so simple, but yet can be tricky sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm glad we're together. I've been trying to send the new link to as many people as I can, because I've been receiving calls also about the frustrations of some of not being able to join. Anyway, those who are with us, thank you for being with us. Welcome, and gratitude to, of course, to everyone. Leopold and Ari mentioned, Mimi Mefo News, and I think also we are Beyond Africa podcast, and maybe Rebecca and Nanchang's X account, and a host of other platforms. Thank you all. But let me get to the week, which is the order I've been given. We're coming out of a very interesting week. And one of the things I do when I listen to the news is to try to put it in context, try to help all of us figure out what is happening behind the headline. Quite a few things going on, which you need to pay attention to, and that's what I want to point out especially. The first, of course, is the state of health of President Biya. I'm not sure that I should expound on this because it's not public knowledge, but we're talking about a public official. So if there is displeasure in some quarters because of this, I hope they'll understand that this is what democracy really is all about. We are struggling, we're trying to hopefully become a democratic nation at one point. And what that means is we have to prepare ourselves for these contradictions. We have to prepare ourselves for moments when we do not agree and try to figure out how we work through our disagreements. It's so important, that this moments like these become educational moments. I know that there's a lot of anger, there'll be a lot of anger with what I'm about to say, and I'll try not to get into any disruptive aspects of the information I got, because at the end of the day, we want the country to be at peace. We want Cameroonians to work out their differences in a peaceful manner, and we want to be able to move forward based on, as best we can, the principles, the most basic principles of government and alternation within government. So I'm not here to say anything that will threaten what is right now, but I'm here to just say things as they are. Knowledge that should be at every Cameroonian, in these very delicate moments, every Cameroonian ought to have this information about the state of Mr. Biya's health. We've all suspected it. We've all seen him decline significantly. But now, as you all know, he's in Europe. He's in hospital. They've been running tests, a range of tests. And I hope the presidency will put out a statement to this effect, that those tests, they're not definitive, but they are sufficiently alarming. Leopold, I'd want for you to just make note of the key points I'm making so that you can say them in French. I mean, I could, but you're much better handling this.
Non, tu sais, Eric, c'est toujours très bien quand ça sort de ta bouche. C'est tellement, ça fait plus autorité.
Ok, je comprends pourquoi mon frère va me laisser.
Ok, non, ok, je retire ce que j'ai dit.
Anyway, no, c'est bon, ça va. Let me get back to what I was saying.
Okay.
I was saying this, that the president is in hospital and he's run a number of tests, a whole range of them, battery of tests, and the results that are coming out are sufficiently alarming. But I do not think, and as I speak, I really want to be sure of what I'm saying, I do not think that I do not think we have enough to determine whether his life is significantly in danger or not. But what we have enough evidence, I think. The folks around him who are there right now, and they include his wife, First Lady Chantal Biya. They include Ayolo, Samuel, and a couple of others. They are aware of these results, and how are the rest of us aware? Some of us are aware of this through global intelligence systems that are in place. So it's at the end of the day, it's not so much of a secret. The president's cognitive abilities, which is the most important as far as we are concerned, is he able to recognize things and to deliver and to lead the nation? And I want to say this as clearly as I can. There are major questions on the president's cognitive abilities. And I do have information that will back this up if I get attacked. So please don't. Telling those who cannot attack the veracity of my statements, telling them now, please don't. Because I just want to show you something that I'm not going to let you read it, but those who know will understand where this is coming from. And please do not, well, you might even see the president's name there somewhere. See President Paul Biya. So they should know that we know what we're talking about. And there's no point trying to get to me, because that will not take away the facts. So the problems with the cognitive abilities, which in any normal country would say, would declare the president at this point inact. So I hope the Constitutional Council will step forward and examine what I'm saying now. I hope the media will step forward and question the president's state of health as of today, and whether or not the medical reasons to declare the president incapable of running the government. I really, I say this, with the deep love for country that I have. I say this with, and many of you may not know this, but I say this with a deep gratitude to Mr. Biya for what he has tried to do to me. Gratitude. Because he's been, he may not have been the best president of the country, but as a human being, I've had a relationship with the president that has even befuddled me, because he has a nation to run, I think even the Prime Minister, John Gute, who's a good friend, will confirm this. So I do not say this to ruffle too many feathers. I do not say this to weaken Mr. Biya's hold on power. No, I say this because Cameroon needs to get back on its feet. And in relation to that, I just want to draw your attention to what's happening in Benin, where a youth-led government is in place. And I don't know if for those of you who have not tried to see what's going on there, see what a refreshing approach there can be in governance when you refresh the ruling class. Benin is such a beautiful example of that. So whatever it is that's going to happen in the coming weeks or months in Cameroon, let us see it as maybe God's little push to Cameroon to move in the direction of youth-led leadership. So that folks like me, who are counting, decades on earth, should be more in a supportive role than in a lead role. Let's do that for Cameroon. I want to, if there are some questions before the end of this program about there are other things I could say about the president's health, but I'd rather not say them now because it might lead me to disclose things that I shouldn't. But I'll try to answer any concerns, because this is so important. This is so important that we know that a statement comes out of Geneva when the final results are in. Maybe tomorrow, Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday, but it's important that the nation be informed. That is part of the democratic process. This week, there's also a very important statement, for those who've not heard it, by Issa Chiroma Bakari, the president-elect, who is currently in Banjul. If you've not heard that statement, I invite you to look it up. It's on his website, and it's on many social media platforms. Because what he does is, it's essentially, he's announcing the fact that he has engineered a court case against the government in a court that has jurisdiction, that has international jurisdiction, and I will explain this if need be. He's put that case, it's in Paris. The significance, it's important what is happening. One, it finally, because it's based, they've been working for the last 7 months, putting together the evidence. So it's not just going to court on some emotional whim that angry because they've stolen my election. No. It is based on carefully collected evidence, which will be put in front of an international court with the global media watching. So we're going into the troubled zones. We're going into the, into the fairly difficult times for those who want to hold on to things they should not hold on to. So Mr. Chiroma will be putting out the facts in a court of law. The most significant development is this court is willing to take on the case, or it's about to, and that's significant. Because when the announcement is made by the court, then there'll be, okay, difficult terrain, troubled waters. Thank you, Mamdua. I was looking for the right words. I was going to say zone of turbulence that we're going to be entering, but I think you've given me Marilyn has given me some better words there. Yes, Cameroon is entering into troubled waters. But we don't want that. We want peace. We want development. We want movement in the right direction. So what's going to be happening in the coming days, maybe weeks, is this matter will go to the courts carefully. Top lawyers, and Ari will be breaking this down as we go forward. As a top lawyers have looked at the case, and it will be coming out in the international media. The Cameroon will become an area of focus again. And what this does, and so a lot of folks will be saying, oh, just another vain action. No, it isn't. There'll be pressure on the system to respond. When a case is made, as Mr. Chiroma made already in a speech this week, putting out the facts, putting out the figures, putting out the extent of the corruption. He did that this week. So when we start seeing that coming out through the courts, with the glare of international media in Paris, I think we're entering a whole new phase of the struggle for change in Cameroon, because that's what this is all about. It's not about any individual. It's just about change that allows us to accept new ideas, that allow us to put the country on a different path than it is right now, because nobody is happy with the path on which we are. So I suggest you go back, take a look at the Chiroma speech if you haven't, and believe me, if that's not a call to action, I don't know what is. The final thing I want to say, and I know that when I take the microphone, I tend to keep it because that's really part of, that's what I've done in, many periods in my life. But the final thing I want to touch on is a discussion, and I'll be having this every week. I'll be talking to senior politicians in Cameroon, and not generally those in government, not of the opposition. So I chose to speak to one of the leaders of the party in technical power, the CPDM. And what I got, which I determined would be of interest to this audience, to all of us, is the discussion that took place in the lead up to the constitutional amendment. I hope you see why I'm getting there, because the Constitution is at the heart of everything. When there's a resistance to change, they play with the Constitution. When there's a determination to effect change, they play with the Constitution. So I was interested in trying to find out, in understanding why, what happened in the lead up to the constitutional change to have a vice president. And what I gathered, there are two very important things. when in the wording, because this is in the wording of that amendment, there was a deliberate effort to achieve two things. One, no suggestion that power could go to an Anglophone. So there was a deliberate effort to ensure that the amendments left no suggestion that the choice could be an Anglophone, because based on what they told themselves at the time, and if some journalist is listening, go ask Mr. Kwete, the head of the CPDM. One of the suggestions, they felt if there was a hint that it could be an Anglophone, then the pressure will build. And they also some did not want to throw any hint that it could be a woman. There's a gender element to this. And I say this, I said, look, but there's never been any indication that it could be a woman. The Constitution does not, the Constitution is unigender. It says he, as we use it, when we say God, we say he, but we understand that it doesn't have a gender. And I don't think that was, someone was telling me actually that, the Constitution is gender neutral. So there's no point, that could not have been the case. But the fact that it came up in the discussion of the leaders of the party to not throw any hints that it could be a woman was significant. That's what I found that was significant. So that's where we were with my discussion. I don't want to go deeper into that discussion. I will if need be. But there was, that's where we left that discussion. And I found it interesting that, it came up as they prepared that what went to Parliament. You may just want to go take another look at the statement as it is right now. Harry, you must be tired of this old man who never stops talking. But it's over to you.
No, you. I mean, that's why we do this, so that we want to keep our audience up to date on what is going on in terms of current affairs with Cameroon, and then talk about what we are doing. And I'm glad of all the things you said, you ended up with the Constitution, right? The Constitution, which is crucial, which is important, and it's what we are going to be talking about. But before I do that, I noticed that Louisette has her hand up, and I wanted to just make sure that we give her the opportunity to ask the question that she has.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, Louisette.
Okay, so my question, before we stray too far away from the court case that he mentioned, this is something that has burned in my heart from when I was a little girl. Is we know that Biya didn't become a president on his own. He has foreign support. And I'm pretty sure that part of the case has parameters built in to the defense to address all of this. But just as a food for thought, how do we address the big shots, the foreign people that want to keep him in power so that they can keep us down and use our resources? Because he's not in power out of his own power. There's forces that we don't see that hold him where he is, and whether we'd like to admit that or not. So do we have defense, or so that we're not just going, to present a case? We want to look at everything. We want to be prepared. We want to be informed. We want to know what we're talking about and address all of this. So do we have things in place to address that?
Yeah. Well, I wish we had a lot of time to discuss this, Louisette. It's a question that touches on some fundamentals of the international system.
Yeah.
You know, if Cameroon, the reason this government has not been able to look at what's going on in the country right now, one of the reasons it's not been able to have a government and appoint a vice president and all of that stuff, there are reasons that are internal to Cameroon, the politics of Cameroon, but it's just as important what's happening, the external reasons, because the world is watching. Cameroon is in deep financial crisis. It needs the help of the world. And as long as the problem of governance is not resolved, it's like we have a noose around our necks as a nation. So there's no, there are deep problems that would have to be resolved for the country to move forward. There are a couple of problems that the leadership in the country currently faces. One is the access to foreign accounts by those in power right now. And the second has to do with travel bans, the potential for travel bans. So your question indeed is saying, how can external powers who have a level of control over our government, how can they influence outcomes in the country? And my answer to that is very simple. They have, if Cameroon cannot service its debt, if Cameroon cannot go to the international capital, international market, to obtain assistance, if it cannot do that because Cameroon is not well seen based on what's going on in the country, it's a balancing act that no nation wants to find itself in. And that's precisely where we are. If we continue to put pressure on the system, that fragilizes Cameroon's standing internationally, then there's an absence of control. The government has literally no control over what is likely to happen to it within that international system. I have a sense that I'm not addressing your question as you, pointing to the answers you seek. But the fact is, the international, the leadership of the world has control over what's happening in countries like Cameroon. But Cameroon also needs to project a sense of stability and order so that it can have access to the things it needs from the international capital markets and so on, the types of the IMF and the World Bank and Wall Street in New York and so on. So Cameroon needs that. It's that balancing act that you have to constantly be looking at. Do they have control or not? And in answer to your question, all I'll say is, whatever Mr. Macron of France wants, there are things he cannot do because the respondent from the national side is wanting. So I don't know if that answers your question, but I think Cameroon is in a very, very delicate situation currently. It cannot balance its act as it should, and the country will continue to be in problems until we figure things out, and start moving on a more stable basis. Right now, we're in a state of heightened, instability.
You said that it's a balancing act, and I think that's kind of where we need to focus on gaining the upper hand on that balancing act, because I know that there's going to be pushback. And so if we don't have the upper hand, we will keep getting pushed back to the corner. So we need to acknowledge the balancing act, all while being in control of the balance, so that it's our country, for Christ's sake, it's our country. So we need to acknowledge that balancing act, but we need to be in control and be like, this is our country. Get the heck out and leave us to be. We can handle this. And then we rebuild from somewhere. We do need the foreign. There's no nation that stands alone. We are social beings. We need the foreign power or the foreign help. But Cameroonians need to get to see that we have the power to create the Cameroon that we want. And that's where we need to start. And that's where the balancing act needs to be. This is our country. Get the heck out and let us build the Cameroon that we want.
Yeah. I don't want to take any more of the time, but I think that it's very important what you're saying, because at the end of the day, that power is in Cameroon. If there's a sense that things have come back to normalcy and the stability and peace is assured, Cameroon will move on. So part of ensuring that that things get cleaned up before the country can move on is to constantly bring to the fore the issues that the nation has to deal with, which is what Chiroma's action, why it's so important. But just as important is what you're saying, Louisette. The nation, Cameroonians need to act. They need to rise up. They need to question what is, Mr. Biya's health. If that becomes an issue, because it's a real issue. If the nation wants to know what the results are of Mr. Biya's medical exams, if there's insistence at all levels, parliament, newspapers, schools, Cameroon, we may start getting closer to the answers we need for the country we need.
Yeah. Thanks, Eric and Lisa. Thank you for your question. And with reference to Lisa, you ended up with the Cameroon that we want. I'm just going to take a moment now to speak to Cameroonians about our country, because Africa was partitioned by people who sat at a conference in Berlin in the 18th century and divided the continent Africa into the various countries that have emerged today. Our country, Cameroon, was broken up into two different countries and administered under two different colonial powers, who made a decision at some point that we'll come together to become one country. And everything else that has followed has been as a result of decisions that were made independent of Cameroonians. Our country has never created an opportunity, and not only Cameroon, but many African countries, to rethink the kind of vision that they want for their country, Cameroon. Personally, I believe Cameroon was an experiment that has failed, but an experiment that could have been exemplary for Africa. That despite the ethnic diversity, that the linguistic differences or cultural backgrounds, that we as Africans could live together in harmony, respecting each other, respecting the values and dignity of each other, building a country that was bilingual and one that could really be representative. The joke about Le Continent may be seen from a vulgar perspective nowadays, but that is really the Project Cameroon. That is the Project Cameroon that was meant to have started 65 years ago. That could have been, if we put our minds to it, if we had applied ourselves to it, would have been a perfect, a pedestal. Cameroon would have been on a pedestal that the rest of the continent will be looking up to. The Benins of the world that had their independence after and went through all sorts of coups d'etats would have been looking up to. The Burkina Fasos, the Botswanas of the world would have been looking up to Cameroon. Unfortunately, that has not happened. And there is no argument that the experiment has failed. And we can spend a lot of our time trying to fix the broken calabash. We will never be able to do it. Or we can build a new calabash that will hold the new wine and preserve it for future generations. It seems to me that we have thrown everything at the broken calabash and we've not been able to put together the pieces. What if we looked at an opportunity to free ourselves from the burdens of yesterday and try to show Cameroonians, I'm not saying abandon the project, but show Cameroonians what can be possible if we bring our minds together, level-headed, to just think about, reset to the last statement that you made, the Cameroon that we want. Not what they want, what we want. That has never been our story. And what we're trying to do, Project C, Project Cameroon, is to figure out what that Cameroon we want is, taking into consideration everybody's perspective. Everybody. There's not one Cameroonian, if we can approach this way, that there's not one Cameroonian that is more important than the other. There's no tribe, no culture that is more significant than the other. That we can build a country based on the weakest of us rather than the strongest. This may seem an illusion. This may seem ridiculously ambitious, but maybe this is what is needed for our country. Maybe this is the medicine to the diagnosis that we have had for our country, because the diagnosis is just that we have been so fragmented. We've seen others as second class, third class. The civil service has become civil masters. They're not serving the country. But what if we could build something different that we could show the world, not only Cameroonians, but maybe this is what Africa needs, that we could rethink this concept of new nations that came on after 1960, and how we could truly project to bring hope to fellow Cameroonians that things can be different, that children can be born into a world where they hope and aspire to achieve their dreams and greatest potentials, that our neighbors can be true neighbors. Neighbors walk in the shoes of neighbors. We feel each other's pain. We share in each other's joy. That is what we want to elevate this conversation, to bring Cameroonians to the point where we're not burdened by what we have been told we should be burdened with. Let us get to a place where we take our destiny into our hands. And that's the hope that we want. That's where we want to take you. And we're asking you, fellow Cameroonians, to come with us on this journey. That everyone can be a pillar in the construct of the new Cameroon. We just ask for a little of your time, a little of your contribution, a little of your participation, and together we will build. I have seen what Burkina Faso is doing, and it gives me hope that people are buying the brick from their own pocket that paves their streets, that people are contributing money to buy bonds for their country, for the development of their country, that it's an investment into their country, that all of these things are possible. We've seen in Benin, Claudicia become a citizen of Benin, bringing with him the attention of 30 million people to discover this new country, Benin, and all of the tourism that's going to come with it. We can do this for Cameroon. It may not seem obvious now with the current government, but unless we're able to demonstrate to the Cameroonian people that there is an alternative, can we mobilize them to start believing and thinking in that alternative? So I'm really thanking everyone for being here, but I'm asking everyone to believe and start thinking of what is possible when we come together. I really had to say this because, and I'm hoping that this message goes across to Cameroonians everywhere. Share. I dropped in the chat here links to the website, but I asked for things that we can do as well. Amplify our messages, donate to the movement, mobilize friends and family, volunteer to get involved. These are all little things that we all can do to get us moving in the direction that we should go. And that's why this conversation about a new constitution for Cameroon is important, so that every village can lend their voice, every individual can lend their voice, everybody can say what is the Cameroon that we want. And we'll capture this, we'll leverage this data, we'll share this with the world, and we should be able, if we can reach 300,000 Cameroonians, it would probably be the biggest engagement project in the history of our country. So this is a moment, a historic moment, and I'm asking everyone to be part of it. I don't know whether this puts Leopold in any position to lay emphasis.
I think Leopold has a duty to capture the essence of everything that was said. Or maybe Chris, I don't know. But Chris wouldn't speak in French for all I know.
No, that's Leopold. I can't help you on that one, brother.
Yeah.
Vraiment, c'est tellement riche et c'est tellement chargé. Juste avant d'essayer de résumer ce qui a été dit et qui est si important, Harry, tu as dit tout à l'heure, we can do it. J'ai dit, we will do it.
We will.
Nous allons le faire parce que vraiment c'est important. Eric a parlé de trois choses principalement. L'état de santé du président, qui est très préoccupant en Suisse. Et puis, il est question que le souhait serait que ceux qui ont eu le privilège d'accompagner le président puissent faire une déclaration là-dessus, parce que les Camerounais ont besoin de savoir de toutes les façons. Les Camerounais ont besoin de savoir. Et puis, ce n'est plus si secret. Tous les Camerounais à l'heure actuelle savent que la situation sanitaire du président est préoccupante. Et les réseaux sociaux en ont fait largement écho. Et il est bon que les Camerounais soient rassurés sur cette situation-là. Et on attend toujours la suite parce que Eric a présenté un certain nombre d'éléments, parce qu'il est très informé à ce sujet, un certain nombre d'éléments qui confirment cela. Nous le disons avec beaucoup de gravité parce que ce n'est le souhait de personne de voir quelqu'un disparaître, peu importe l'âge, de toutes les façons, c'est une vie humaine. Et ensuite, le deuxième aspect, c'était la sortie. Pardon, oui, voilà, le président Chiroma, qui a dû saisir, et ça aussi, cela circule déjà dans les réseaux sociaux, a saisi le tribunal de Paris au sujet de la situation très préoccupante et grave, la crise post-électorale, qui a été très bien documentée et remise à un collège d'avocats. Et nous pensons que il serait utile de savoir quelle suite pourrait être donnée, parce qu'on sait que le tribunal de Paris a fait partie de ceux qui ont une compétence universelle. Donc, ça, c'est la situation qu'il faudrait vraiment suivre dans les prochains jours, dans les prochaines semaines. Et puis, Eric a aussi parlé de l'échange qu'il a eu avec le haut responsable du comité central du RDPC au Cameroun sur les débats, les échanges qui ont eu lieu avant la modification de la Constitution qui a eu lieu au mois d'avril. Il a été clairement établi qu'il ne fallait décider, ce comité restreint a clairement décidé que un anglophone ne pouvait pas faire partie des vice-présidentiables. Et l'aspect genre aussi a été évoqué, une femme non plus. On ne voyait pas une femme comme vice-présidente. Donc, autant de considérations qui peuvent beaucoup surprendre dans la situation dans laquelle nous nous trouvons. Parce qu'on voudrait une solution, mais en même temps, on choisit une bonne solution, mais on choisit la couleur de la solution. Donc, ça, c'est des détails dont on aurait pu se passer. Eric, c'était pas facile de résumer ce que tu as dit, parce que tu l'as dit avec tellement d'emphase, c'était tellement... en t'écoutant, on se demandait même si tu parlais en anglais.
En français.
Voilà.
Oui, non, merci beaucoup. Léopold, je crois qu'il est aussi nécessaire quand on revient sur la question que Luisette avait posée, que je trouvais très, très importante. Et en réponse à cette question, j'ai précisé, souligné, n'est-ce pas, l'importance de l'action menée par IBT, par le président élu. Et c'est de donner l'importance de cette action. Vous savez, d'abord, le fait que ça va exposer le Cameroun sur le plan international. Et le Cameroun a besoin de mieux gérer son image aujourd'hui. Si le pays va avoir accès à un certain nombre de choses, le financement, les prêts, ainsi de suite, le Cameroun a besoin de soigner son image. Et si cette action remet en question, n'est-ce pas, un certain nombre de choses, parce qu'ils le font avec preuve à l'appui, si ça remet donc en question tous les efforts, s'il y en a, de dirigeants l'étoudie pour remettre, n'est-ce pas, le pays sur les rails, si ça met en question ces efforts-là, évidemment, il y a, je crois que c'est là où ça trouve toute son importance. Et en plus, ils peuvent aussi mener à un certain nombre d'actions. D'abord, l'accès aux comptes que tous ces dirigeants du Cameroun ont à l'extérieur.
Ouais. Le gel de ces avoirs. Ouais.
Exactement. Les comptes offshore et puis aussi les empêcher de voyager.
Voilà, interdiction de voyage.
Ah oui. Donc, enfin, il y a toutes ces questions-là auxquelles on a essayé de répondre.
Tout à fait. Et de toutes les manières, d'après un certain nombre d'indications, des actions sont vraiment en cours dans ce sens-là, puisque d'autres organisations ont pu identifier, localiser les avoirs des principaux dirigeants au Cameroun à l'extérieur. Ils ont déjà été identifiés d'après des informations concordantes.
Et ceux qui n'ont pas vu le discours du président Chiroma, je vous invite à aller sur son site ou sur d'autres plateformes qui ont diffusé, n'est-ce pas, ce discours qu'il a fait il y a quelques jours.
Voilà. Et puis, Harry a rappelé de façon vraiment utile l'historique. La partition de l'Afrique en 1888, 1884-1885 à Berlin, l'Afrique a été partagée et ça c'est connu. Et puis, pour ce qui est du Cameroun, on a été sous protectorat de deux États, la Grande-Bretagne, la France. Et malheureusement, les problèmes que nous traversons au Cameroun aujourd'hui sont des conséquences de l'échec de ces partitions, de la gestion justement de cet héritage-là, de ces pays. Donc, depuis 1960, le Cameroun traverse un certain nombre de difficultés. Nous avons déjà eu à les évoquer, notamment l'origine véritable de la crise anglophone qui est partie de la découverte du pétrole dans la zone, dans le sud-ouest en 1964. Et puis, on connaît la suite. Mais nous pensons que, de toutes les manières, le présent, ce que nous vivons aujourd'hui, est la conséquence de notre passé. Et nous disons qu'il est de notre responsabilité qu'aujourd'hui, nous définissions de meilleures bases pour le futur du Cameroun, pour la postérité. D'où donc le projet de la convention constitutionnelle que nous allons organiser. Et nous invitons vraiment les Camerounais, où qu'ils soient, à prendre part à cet important projet. Il est unique, il est original. Décider vraiment de faire partie de réécrire notre histoire du Cameroun à partir d'aujourd'hui. Et donc, aucune voix aucune voix n'est de trop, aucune voix ne pourrait être négligée. Il est important que vraiment les Camerounais, où qu'ils soient, à l'intérieur, à l'extérieur, qu'ils prennent part à cet important projet, qu'ils répondent, qu'ils se prononcent. Quel Cameroun voulons-nous léguer à la postérité? Et donc, la campagne de sondage va démarrer dans les tout prochains jours et nous allons être un peu plus précis là-dessus.
Harry, you're on mute.
Sorry. Yeah, thank you very much. Merci beaucoup, Leopold, for that. In the context of this project, in the last week, we have started a conversation in Cameroon. For those of you in
Harry, can I say something before you go forward?
Oh, yes, please. Yes, go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, good morning, everyone, and thanks to all Cameroonians around the world watching and joining us. We truly appreciate this. I think, again, we have to take back our country, and nobody is going to do it for us but us. And that's what the Project C is all about. That's what this is all about. So I just want to point and thank you, Brother Eric, for the deep dive information, even though you kept it at the surface for good reasons. But I think it's very informative for Cameroonians to get involved and their thought process in terms of what is happening in the country and so forth. And thanks, Harry and Leopold, for the history. I want to first clarify one thing. Excuse me, with regards to Louisette's question, which Brother Eric answered clearly. But I also want to remind everyone that this is an ITB project. It is an ITB project, and they have those facts. Of course, we will do our best to, if there's anything we can do to support, we will. But I think it's important that there's no confusion that this is not a Project C project. As there's always constant confusion about Project C being ITB and vice versa. Not that we are distancing ourselves from ITB, that is the elected president by Cameroonians, and we will continue to support his efforts to get back into power because that's the choice of Cameroonians. But, excuse me, but ITB has his team that they're working together. I wanted to clarify this because, again, this question comes on all the time and people get confused between Project C and ITB. By no means are we being apologetic or distancing ourselves with our elected president. We stand firmly behind him because that's the choice of the Cameroon people, as best as we know. So the details, Lizette, of that I'm sure the lawyers and his team are very well prepared, as Brother Eric indicated. Just as Project C is working on the Constitutional Conference and ITB is taking a different, excuse me, path to this, that all Cameroonians have to get involved and provide support. We don't know exactly what support ITB will need. We know what support Project C needs towards the Constitutional Conference, but all Cameroonians should be informed and rise up at all aspects to make sure that there is support. The international community is only going to respond to the voice of Cameroonians. There's no one person who is more powerful than Cameroonians. If Cameroonians sit dormant and just say, oh, you guys go do it, ITB, you go do it, Project C, go do it, then the international powers will continue to do what they do to us. So I think that's very clear. So yes, Lizette raises a very important point, but I'm also confident that ITB, as Eric said, has been working on this for 7 months. And so they will be very, very well prepared for it, I'm sure. But all Cameroonians must rise and be ready to support and ready so that the international community hears their voices. Here's the voice, the collective voice of the Cameroonian people. Because if not, that's how Burkina Faso is coming out. That's how Benin is coming. Because the Benin people are very well informed and engaged. And so they cannot mess with them. So the power of the Cameroonian people must be unleashed. It must. If Cameroonians are just sleeping and waiting that people are going to do it for us, then Lizette's concerns will be realized. The international community is going to shut it down. Because ITB is in court by himself, and Cameroonians are not standing behind it and pushing, and journalists are not talking on TV, on the newspaper, and Cameroonians are not talking in groups about it and so forth. Then we will remain where we are. So I just wanted to clarify that. You brought up a very great point, but I also want to make sure that people understand Project C is not engaged in the details of that. We are focused on another path. I also want to indicate that, you see, the Cameroon changes are going on around the world because the leaders of those countries at some point are turning around and giving opportunity for its citizens to engage in a peaceful way, not in a violent way. Unfortunately, in Cameroon, we are stuck. The government is selfish. They're not performing. Cameroonians are suffering. They've outrun their capabilities, but they're not going away at the expense of Cameroonians. And Cameroonians have tried everything else. It's not working. Our backs have been pushed against the world. We are peaceful people. Our backs have been pushed against the world. And what Project C is doing here is a way that we believe can bring Cameroonians together to find a path, a peaceful path to change in Cameroon. So this project that we are undertaking is another way of expressing ourselves another path we're trying to, how can we do this? How can Cameroonian people take over control of its government that they own without having to lose blood? Our Project C, the Constitutional Conference, is a first step, which the process as well as the resulting constitution will give Cameroonians something to work together so that we can say, this is the Cameroon that we want, to whoever. And so we continue to call on all Cameroonians to get engaged, whether it's ITB fighting in court or whether it's Project C trying to develop this constitution. But most importantly, as Ray would say, the process of us going through this to get there is what leaves a complete roadmap for either the present government, the new government, or other leaders that may, that may arise. But we have to have something that we can all talk about as the new Cameroon that we want. And whoever is out there will say, this is the Cameroon that we want, whether you are Anglophone or Francophone, because whether there is NOSO, the Anglophones, the war in the Northwest, Southwest, or in the far North, and so forth, the point is, whatever decisions to resolve that, we have to have a government that is willing to engage the people to figure out what they want. So I hope and pray that the line of Cameroonians engaged in Project C and in supporting this court case that is coming up, and that Cameroonians' voices must continue to be heard loud and clear, and all Cameroonians engage so that we can protect our country and work towards getting our country back in a non-violent fashion. Thanks, Eric.
Harry, you're not on. Yeah.
Yeah, I keep doing that. Yeah, Chris, thank you so much for the kind words and for that precision fielding questions as well with reference to that. And let me I want to emphasize what the project is. We have several new people that may have joined us that may not have been brought to speed with what we are working on. And so for emphasis, I would begin by sharing this one video, first in French and then in English, just so that for those who are, because for some of you that are here every Saturday with us, you may get this, but every other week we see new people joining and they may not be up to speed. So I'm going to play this video that you may have seen, but just for emphasis, because it describes the process of what we're trying to do. So I'll share one more time this.
Depuis des décennies, les Camerounais voient naître l'espoir leur filer entre les doigts. Les décisions concernant notre avenir se prennent à huis clos. Nos voix sont étouffées par le pouvoir et la politique. On ne cesse de nous dire qui nous sommes et ce que nous devons accepter. Mais et si, pour une fois, nous décidions par nous-mêmes? Et si, pour la première fois, l'âme du Cameroun était façonnée non pas par ce qui nous divise, mais par ce qui nous unit? Imaginez un mouvement, non pas de politiciens, mais de citoyens. Imaginez chaque recoin de ce pays, chaque hameau, village, bourg, ville, chaque région, se soulevant ensemble dans un même but. Pas pour une élection, pas pour le pouvoir, mais pour une seule nation, une fois pour toutes. Imaginez faire passer le pays avant soi-même, l'amour avant la haine, le Cameroun avant la tribu, la langue ou la région. Imaginez les vendeurs de rue, les mototaxistes, les syndicats, les chefs traditionnels, les professionnels et la diaspora, travaillant ensemble, partout, pour quelque chose de plus grand que chacun d'entre nous. Ce n'est pas un rêve, c'est le projet C. Pour la première fois, nous, le peuple, nous rassemblerons pour répondre aux questions les plus difficiles et les plus importantes. Quel genre de pays voulons-nous? Qu'est-ce qui fait de nous des Camerounais? Comment mettre enfin de côté les fantômes du passé et créer un avenir où chaque citoyen a sa place? Au cours des 4 prochains mois, nous écouterons, nous débattrons, nous rédigerons une nouvelle constitution. Une constitution qui reflète notre diversité, nos rêves, notre détermination à construire un Cameroun empreint de dignité, de paix et de prospérité. C'est un mouvement né du peuple, pour le peuple. Fini les décisions prises pour nous, sans nous. Fini d'attendre la permission d'espérer. Un nouveau Cameroun est possible, non pas déterminé par notre passé colonial, mais par notre avenir commun. Rejoignez le mouvement pour un nouveau Cameroun.
I'll stop here. That was in French, but just to emphasize the key messages in this is really for us to imagine a different Cameroon. Not a Cameroon that is determined by political interest or foreign interest, but a Cameroon that is determined by Cameroonians for Cameroonians. That for once we put away tribe, we think beyond ourselves. We put away our linguistic differences and just focus on a country that takes into consideration everyone, where we put love above hate. We put country above self. And we really focus on building a movement, a country that is united in purpose, focusing more on the things that unite us than the things that divide us. Because everything we have known about in the last 65 years is a country that has been built on dividing us rather than uniting us. And so this would be an intentional process. That's what we are trying to do. Above everything else, or everything that we know about Cameroon, we're asking you to believe in something that has never been, right? That's what this project is, this process is. And we want everybody to believe in that.
Tout à fait. C'est-à-dire que, en fait, ajouter à ça, qu'on essaye d'oublier même notre passé colonial avec toutes ses conséquences. Et l'occasion aussi de demander à chaque Camerounais de se recentrer sur son identité. Notre diversité devrait nous amener à l'issue de cela de même mériter l'appellation, comme tu l'as dit à un moment donné, de l'appellation continent. Parce que notre diversité doit être notre force, vraiment notre identité. Qui sommes-nous et qu'est-ce que nous voulons offrir au monde? Qu'est-ce que nous voulons offrir à l'Afrique? Qu'est-ce que nous voulons offrir à la postérité, aux jeunes générations? Donc voilà un peu. Ça devrait vraiment nous motiver tous Camerounais, pouvoir y participer. Et puis la campagne n'est pas longue, hein, 2 semaines. Voilà.
Yeah, Ali, just before you play the next thing, I just wanted to point out a couple of things here. One is to recognize the presence, and I'm happy he did, and I hope he keeps coming, of Honorable Aka Amwam, you know, former member of parliament who's with us. And I wanted to say also that Elizabeth is not with us, not because, you know, as we said earlier, she's onto something that she needs to take to a logical conclusion. I hope by next week, you may have more information on that. And a couple of people have asked me about why Elizabeth isn't showing up. So I just thought out that. And then remember, we said we should have more ladies talking. I know that Mamdua has been talking, but we've got Kado here, Judith Fang, and a host of others whom we need to hear from. And I want to also thank Professor Tang Samuel for being with us. Alan Tita is here. He still needs to be saying something. I just want to recognize a few of these people. I hope that's fine.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Il y a aussi Alain Gono, un expert dont on a bien besoin. Eric. Alain Gono is also.
Yeah. With that, let me play this video as well in English. And then after that, we will open up to conversations about how what we have done and how everybody can get involved. This is a really historic moment, and hopefully everybody here can share thoughts, ideas, and contributions to how we achieve this really audacious goal. So let me play this.
AIDS, Cameroonians have watched as hope slipped through our fingers. Decisions about our future made behind closed doors. Our voices drowned out by power and politics. Again and again, we have been told who we are and what we must accept. But what if, for once, we decide for ourselves? What if, for the first time, the soul of Cameroon is shaped not by what divides us, but by what unites us? Imagine a movement, not of politicians, but of people. Imagine every corner of this country, every hamlet, village, town, city, every region, rising together with one purpose. Not for an election, not for power, but for one nation, once and for all. Imagine putting country over self, love over hate, Cameroon over tribe, language, or region. Imagine the street vendors, the motorcycle taxi drivers, the trade unions, traditional rulers, professionals, and the diaspora working together everywhere for something bigger than any one of us. This is not a dream. This is Project C. For the first time, we, the people, will come together to answer the hardest, most important questions. What kind of country do we want? What makes us Cameroonian? How do we finally lay to rest the ghosts of the past and create a future where every citizen belongs? Over the next 4 months, we will listen. We will debate. We will draft a new constitution. One that reflects our diversity, our dreams, our determination to build a Cameroon of dignity, peace, and prosperity. This is a movement born of the people, for the people. No more decisions made for us without us. No more waiting for permission to hope. A new Cameroon is possible, not determined by our colonial past, but by our common future. Join the movement for a new Cameroon.
Great. So that was we will try to play this video as many times as possible so that Cameroonians, just so that the message can sink through. How are we going to do this? First, it begins with communication. It begins with talking, and it begins with creating opportunities for people to know about this initiative. In the last week, again, I said, if you looked at headlines of newspapers in Cameroon, we carried this in Messager, in Le Jour, in the Guide, in the Post, the Horizon newspaper. But we're also actively working with bloggers. We work with the radios, with community radios in Cameroon, so that it can reach to as many. We used the same strategy during the presidential elections to mobilize thousands, millions of Cameroonians, especially young people, to participate in the elections, to make them know that they have to hold their ground at their polling station. We educated people on the electoral code. We can reach millions of Cameroonians just communicating about what is possible, not gossips, not what is wrong, but what is possible for our country, that a new Cameroon is possible. That's what we are trying to do with this initiative. And that's why the emphasis of these videos are going to be necessary. What I'm asking anybody who is part of the Project C WhatsApp group, as we share these videos, share with your networks so everybody can know and understand that this is not against anyone. This is for all of us. We're not fighting. We're not trying to bring down anybody. We're just trying to build for the future generation. And I'm asking you to play your part. So, I perceive people saying, you cannot build from the roof. How are you going to implement this and all of that? Let us have a document. Let us have our own gospel written by us. That's what this will be. Our own gospel. Gospel is what we believe in. That is written by us. We believe in. I mean, we're committed to this. Not something that's written by somebody else and we're trying to make ours. This is our opportunity to write our own story on a new page of our history. That's what we hope that we can do with you. And this is inspiring people in ways that we cannot know. And we've been working on something behind the scenes, which we're going to premiere here today. It's a big announcement. We'll see how technologically that works. But we want this project to be sung in every household, on the streets, in churches. We want it to be music in the ears of every Cameroonian, that we can take our destiny into our own hands by doing very little things. And we're going to premiere some music here today that has been put together by a fellow Cameroonian, and we'll give him the credits when the time comes, when technologically it's possible. But I'm going to pause here. Leopold, if you would want to lay any emphasis on, after the two videos that we've played.
Non, merci Harry. C'est peut-être effectivement l'occasion de rappeler que la campagne de communication de cette convention a déjà commencé. Il y a eu des articles dans la presse, tu les as cités, Le Messager, Le Jour, Le Poste, Horizon. Et les radios communautaires et les autres médias ont déjà été aussi contactés. Donc, le mouvement est lancé de toutes les façons. Il est lancé. Nous ne sommes absolument contre personne. Nous travaillons pour le Cameroun. Nous travaillons donc pour nous tous. Et c'est vraiment important de le dire. Donc, point n'est besoin d'avoir peur. Je veux dire, les gens, les Camerounais, c'est l'occasion pour nous d'écrire notre histoire. Et puis, j'ai bien aimé ton allusion, Harry, de rappeler que c'est l'évangile du Cameroun que nous sommes en train d'écrire. Donc, prenons vraiment une part active à cela. Un petit clin d'œil aussi aux musulmans, parce que c'est pas parce qu'on dit évangile que ça peut être des versions de notre Coran, le Coran Cameroun, que nous sommes en train de... Nous invitons vraiment les Camerounais à le faire de façon vraiment... Les questions seront... Elles sont très simples. Donc vraiment, le diagnostic a déjà été fait. Donc, c'est plus la peine de redire ce qui ne marche pas. Nous voulons savoir quel Cameroun nous voulons désormais, sur la base de ce que nous avons vécu. Quel Cameroun voulons-nous désormais? Et que ce soit vraiment la référence. Et il y a des Camerounais de très bonne volonté qui ont mis cela en musique, au sens propre. Et on attend, il y a une vidéo la vidéo est aussi en train d'être en cours de montage. Et le souhait, c'est que des spots comme ceux qu'on vient de publier, qu'on les diffuse largement dans tous nos réseaux, que cela fasse partie vraiment de de notre musique, de notre chanson, pour nous rappeler que non seulement un nouveau Cameroun est possible, mais que nous avons décidé de le réécrire, de l'améliorer, d'améliorer l'existant, que ce soit quelque chose qui fasse date et que ce soit même un exemple pour d'autres pays africains, parce que le travail que nous faisons est un travail vraiment d'identité, de recentrage. Nous sommes admiratifs de voir les initiatives que certains pays, le Burkina Faso, le Bénin, destin en main, et c'est ce que nous invitons les Camerounais à faire de façon vraiment massive. Bon. Nous avons modestement sur 1% de Camerounais. Nous estimons que ce pourcentage-là est assez expressif, sera significatif et sera révélateur, mais nous invitons tous les Camerounais, sans exception, à participer à cette campagne de réécriture d'un nouveau Cameroun pour que toutes les histoires passées là, que ce soit vraiment... Comment avons-nous pu tomber aussi bas? Pourquoi nous n'avons pas pensé à cette initiative beaucoup plus tôt? Il faudrait qu'on aboutisse à cela. Voilà un peu, oui.
Il n'est jamais trop tard, mon cher.
Absolument, Eric. Il n'est jamais trop tard pour bien faire.
Okay.
Il n'est jamais trop tard.
All right. So we're going to try this, and at the end of this, I would open up for feedback. But this would be the first time, and this is how we want to take this project across the country. I don't know if you all can see my screen, and if you can,
yes, we can.
Thumbs up.
Yes, we can.
And I want you all to enjoy this.
For decades, Cameroonians have watched us hope slip through our fingers. Decisions about our future made behind closed doors. Our voices drowned out by power in politics again and again. We have been told who we are and what we must accept. Cameroon's destiny has been shaped by others. Cameroonians are waking up and demanding change. What kind of country do we want? What makes us Cameroonian? The soul of Cameroon is shaped not by what divides us, but by what unites us. Oh, what kind of country do we want? What makes us Cameroonian? Imagine a movement not of politicians, but of people. Imagine every corner of this country, every hamlet, village, town, city, every region, rising together with one purpose, not for an election, not for power, but for one nation, once and for all. Imagine putting country over self, love over hate. Cameroon, not tribe, language, not region. The soul of Cameroon is shaped not by what divides us, but by what unites us. Imagine a movement not of politicians, but of people. This is not a dream, this is Project C. Imagine the street vendors, the motorcycle taxi drivers, the trade unions, traditional rulers, professionals, and the diaspora, working together everywhere for something bigger than any one of us. Oh, for the first time we, the people, will come together to answer the hardest, most important generations. How do we finally lay to rest the ghost of the past and create a future where every citizen belongs? Over the next 4 months, we will listen, we will debate, we will draft a new constitution. Oh, one that reflects our diversity, our dreams, our determination to build a Cameroon of dignity, peace, and prosperity. This is a movement for the people. For the people, no more decision made for us, without us. No more waiting for permission to hope. A new Cameroon is possible. Hey, not determined by our colonial past, but by our common future. Join the movement for a new Cameroon. This is Project C. This is a movement born of the people, for the people. A new Cameroon is possible. Join the movement for a new Cameroon. Join the movement for a new Cameroonian.
I am waiting for, I'm waiting for the comments from others.
Well, first of all, I mean, I give you a hand, for all the work you did in such a hurry to get us to this point where we could play this song today. I mean, I don't know, you, Chris, and Leopold, you guys are, I learned a new phrase in Holland last week. I was in The Hague, and somebody did something, and somebody said, after you, now you. Think about it. After you, now you. And then we had a discussion about it. After you, now you. There's only God who's after you, now you, So when somebody does something so well, we just have to say after you, now you. So, Ari, after you, now you, my man.
Et surtout, Eric, de façon spontanée.
Oui.
Nous n'avons pas commandé ce travail-là du tout.
Oui, pas du
Et
tout.
ça, c'est remarquable.
Yes.
I would love to take credit, but I cannot.
Yeah, please.
I want to extend profound gratitude to Ben Zama, who is still in the lab. I mean, we've gone all through the night trying to get this ready for today. I mean, because this is how movements are made.
Yeah.
It is moments like this that transform movements, and it's ordinary people applying themselves to the moment that builds the movement. And I think the first time I spoke to Ben was maybe 2 days ago or yesterday morning, and here we are with something that for a month we've been talking, and with his talent, it has captured the essence of the moment, and that is the production that we have. This is just this is the premiere of it, but we're hoping that this goes viral, that this song, this rhythm, this is felt in Ben. Let me bring you up to talk a little bit about the inspiration that you had, why you applied yourself to this. You're a musician. You're a man of multiple talents. Let me not only say music, but if you can come up, just introduce yourself and then talk a little bit about the motivation to do this and why this is necessary at this moment and what other Cameroonians can do.
Good morning, and my time, good morning. What do I say? I think Chris sent me the link to the video 3 days ago, and I watched it and thought, what could I do to support the movement? And so it just occurred to me that the music in the video, the original video, was not very, I mean, personally, I don't think I thought it matched what the message was. And so I decided I was going to do this, to try to maybe improve on the music, to get more people, because I believe that some people may not, be attracted to the movement or at first to the video to be able to watch it. But I thought if we had a catchy tune, that may be, a route to get to people. And so I went ahead and transcribed the words and then did my programming and arrangements, and I sent it to Chris, and the rest is history.
Yeah, we've written a little part of the history of Cameroon. So when, as you said, the rest is history, is what has happened in the last day and in the last hour. Can you imagine what can happen in the next 4 months if every Cameroonian stepped up? Whether you're a data analyst, a scientist, web designer, graphic designer, doctor, lawyer, accountant, journalist, everybody just gave a little bit of. I mean, like I said, we were chatting till all through the night, essentially, to get this done, because it was just the moment for us to do it. We will be eternally grateful for. I mean, we're still in production, right? This is just a preview. We're going to finalize this. It's going to be. We have the music already in French, in English, so we're going to finalize this. So we're going to put it out, and maybe at some point we can even think about doing one in Pidgin, because we want every Cameroonian to be part of this conversation, so we can use our lingua franca, the common language. We do it in Pidgin, so the message also goes to everybody everywhere. This is what we want, we hope to achieve with this.
Yeah, Ray, if I may add something to it, because Ben is a very modest guy. But Ben and I go back a long way, history. Ben is a civil engineer by profession. And I say that not just to, I wanted to emphasize a point, right? Ben is a civil engineer, and also a musician. Ben loves music. He loves music. He's produced some music over time. He has, I'm sure if you go to YouTube or somewhere, you will see some of his music. And so when I send the videos to my my contacts, and then Ben immediately within hours sent this to me. But I'm not going to repeat what I already just has described. What I want to emphasize is how Cameroonians can get involved. This project, while I did not immediately, all this happened, I sent it to Array, and then Array took it from there, played its magic, and there. But think about it, that the video was produced by someone in Cameroon. Ben is in Dallas, right? So the two Cameroonian artists were working together. Array put them together to finalize this in a matter of days.
Hours,
okay. A matter of hours, right? So I want to take, first of all, Ben, thank you, and thank you, and thank you.
You're welcome.
And I don't know the name of the video, the original video producer, but thanks to him as well. But I think we want to use this, the power of artists the power. Cameroonian artists have been silent.
Yeah.
This is what they can do, thanks to those that have done something like the song that we play at the beginning and the end, and others that have been done, videos and so forth. But this is calling upon Cameroonian artists to amplify the voice of Cameroonians. I will tell you, when I listen to this song, Transformed, I love the video, but when I listened to the song, tears were coming down my eyes for my love of Cameroon. I mean, many others are going to shed tears, listen to the song. Tears of dream, because these two artists have come together and amplify the voice of Cameroonians who are non-violent people that have been put in jail and cannot speak. And now we have our artists helping amplify the voices. This will be played in bars. It will be played in clubs. It will be played everywhere. And guess what? Pidgin English will play in Jangi houses and everywhere. I take this opportunity to call upon today. We call upon all Cameroonians of all talent to join in this non-violent movement, which we believe we're going to win. Because it's a movement of the people. Nobody can ever defeat its people. No one. It's just a matter of time. It is just a matter of time. And I love to see our artists. I call upon them first, because the artists of different forms, the various forms of artists, to join the movement and contribute in some form or shape for us, traditional musicians and so forth, to take this message and transform it into traditional languages and so forth and all of that. And this will become some form of anthem. That's how we reach our people with this message to mobilize. We don't have to carry guns. The government is pushing Cameroonian people to be violent, to get what belongs to them. We're not going to do that anymore. We're going to use every other means possible to bring Cameroonians together, including government officials, because there will come a day when they will carry their heads in shame because the Cameroonian people will win. It is time. This is just the beginning. If Cameroonians come together like this, we will take back our country very quickly. So, thank you, Ben. Thank you to the video person. And we're going to be calling on other professionals in other areas, be it engineers, be it programmers, be it whatever, to bring their talent. You've started a movement, Ben, and your other colleague. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Well, I'll let that continue. We're going to finalize the production of all of this, and next week we're going to be releasing it on various platforms. It's going to be on YouTube. We're going to have other platforms that we collaborate with, share and distribute this music across the country. We're going to work with you, Ben, to come up with a pidgin version of it so that we can reach everybody with it. But we want to make sure that people are singing to the tune and dancing to it, and that the words, the lyrics of it, listening to it repeatedly becomes the way that we're going to act, and we build this into the movement that our country needs at this time. Yeah. And Chris, thank you for those words, because deep words that you emphasize. We don't need to carry guns to build the Cameroon that we want. We don't need it. We just need an opportunity to have a conversation, to design the country that we want. that everybody believes in. And as a result of that, we will be able to get to where we want to. Once we have this constitution drafted, hopefully that would inspire the kind of change that is needed for a peaceful transition in our country.
Yeah. Harry, someone just said me.
Reverend Chris.
Yes.
No. Okay. Oh, Reverend Chris, thank you.
Reverend Chris.
Good talks. Nice talks.
You're giving me a title. I don't think I can handle that title.
Well, it's funny because somebody sent me a note saying, but who is this guy, Chris? And I just thought, most of us, some of us here do know Chris well. I just thought it's always an honor to work with him, and he's one of the three. I hope you can see the three on your screen. The minds behind everything we're doing, Leopold, Ari, of course, and Chris. And what I just thought I would say is Chris is a very, it's one of the successful Cameroonian business people in America who was on President Obama's business advisory team. That was a position that we ought to have known, been proud of, tapped into. We never did. These are the kinds of things, and I just responded to this person saying, look, I'll talk to you about Chris because I can't do enough on while I'm in a conference. But I just thought I'd point that out. And you can see how the energy of his thoughts and the way he does things, and then coming and meeting with Ari and Leopold. I mean, these three guys their minds can blow up the world. But I'll leave it at that. Thanks, Chris. And look, Uncle B, Ben.
Yes, sir.
Ben, thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes, let's keep going. Let's, and there are lots of others here. I hope they will also join us in the innovative things we have to do. One of the problems of the country we have now is its abhorrence of new ideas. Cameroon, the government we have now does not open up to new ideas, does not accept new ideas. And that's one of the fundamental things we're going to change. And it is with people like you and the rest of us that we're going to change it. Anyway, thanks. Thanks again.
Yeah, thank you, Ben. Again, once more, let me emphasize that because we cannot overemphasize. But thank you. This is just the beginning of the work that we have to do in the next 4 months, and I'm appealing to anyone out there. If you would like to be involved, please. I just put our email info@projectcameroon.com, but I also put the link to the WhatsApp group. If you would like to join the WhatsApp group, let's join the WhatsApp group. It's going to, for the next 4 months, let me say this to anybody who is on the WhatsApp group, we will shut down the WhatsApp group and it's only going to be focused on this project. So please, we will not be sharing the gossips. If you have land to sell, that's not important at this time. What is important now is going to be our country. So it's going to be a dedicated WhatsApp group just for the next 4 months on this project. And only admins will be sharing information so that everybody can go to the WhatsApp group, and it's going to be an up-to-date information. It's going to be most relevant information. So that's how we're going to move forward. I see 2 hands up, and I want to give. So, Louisette, I know your hand has been up for a while. So I'm going to go first to Louisette and then to Marilyn. Marilyn, I didn't recognize your new name today. So
I just wanted to mirror the sentiment towards the music. I'm an energy worker, and the second I heard the music, I felt the energy of the intention. Our intention is the most powerful tool that we have. If we set our mind to do something, we can manifest. We can do so much better. If you can't, end a war by taking a gun or by sending support to the war. You won't end the war. But if you don't support the war, you don't participate, you put your energy towards love. Love is the biggest, most powerful thing that we can do to counter a negative energy. So the energy of the intention of that music, if all the Cameroonians start listening to this, the words, the power of our words, what we're creating, what are you creating today? If you're humming this tune, you're broadcasting your intention, and your intention is for a better Cameroon. This is a huge step to realizing what we're dreaming about. It's no longer a dream at this point. It's done. At this point, it's done. We just need to align to what we have created, because we have already created. It's done. There's no question about when, where, how. It's a matter of aligning to what is already here at this point. So this is a huge step.
Thank you very much.
Absolument. Harry, c'est très, très spirituel ce que Lusette vient de dire, et c'est vrai, c'est déjà accompli. Nous devons simplement nous aligner sur ce projet. Et c'est pour cela que nous disions depuis, Eric, toi et autres, que le processus est aussi important que l'objectif que nous voulons atteindre. C'est déjà réalisé, c'est fait. Merci, Lusette, merci. C'est profond.
This is fascinating because I'm receiving a similar message from somebody who is Nigerian saying the same thing, and I'm just reading my WhatsApp group, and it says really talking about this must be a secret assignment that we're onto, and this is not just about Cameroon, but probably this is what Africa needs. And maybe we had to go through the travails and tortures of the last 65 years as to be able to get to where we are. But this is our awakening, the renaissance, so to speak, of Cameroon and maybe of Africa. Marilyn.
Yes, hi everyone. And Are Ndua, it's my actual name, the main name.
Oh, okay.
Marilyn is a white man stuff, but you know.
Okay.
But
right.
anyways, again, I just want to say good morning, and I want to start by just congratulating Project C. I think it's amazing. As you guys know, I wear a couple of hats, and I do have a few of my people who are not quite happy that I'm engaging in Project C, because somebody said, for some reason, some people see Project C as a branch of Issa Chiroma for whatever reason, the messaging. So just so you guys be aware of that. Some people do see Project C, whatever messaging. So you guys can take that and try to reframe yourself, although you do support, you're not. But I do have some of my people, I wear my hats. But again, everybody knows that I'm a community builder, community organizer, and I support anything. I'm for Cameroon. You know, I'm for anything that's pushing Cameroon forward. I do support, and that's why I'm drawn to Project C. I really want to congratulate, especially the infrastructure that Project C is creating. That is the infrastructure that we need for change. We need to start building those relationships, you know, forming those partnerships to move the country forward, because it's not going to be a one man, it's going to be a coalition of the willing, and like-minded people that's going to push the agenda forward. So I'm really happy with the infrastructure. I was in Ghana when the Rawlings government was removed by the opposition after so many years, and this was the kind of infrastructure that they created, and I'm happy to see us doing that. Everyone who knows me knows that I'm an independent, neither for the CPDM or I've been very disappointed by both the CPDM and the opposition. And so I'm happy to see us coming together and forming that coalition, because Nieri talked about the situation, the health of the president, and maybe I should bring this up and the WhatsApp strategy group. I'm not sure, you know, who's here, whatever, but we need to start planning about, we really need serious planning about, what happens if, the president dies. I mean, we know that nature is going to take care of him. And the Constitution gives us 90 days. What we need to activate a plan, maybe there is a plan, that's, but that's something that we need to be concrete and have something if we have that kind of information. I like the idea, Project C, reimagining a different Cameroon, because Cameroon, I always say, is the only country where we have presidential election. We don't have debates, presidential debates. And so reimagining, these are the kind of things, that infrastructure, engaging Cameroonians. I love the music, making the process. A lot of people are tuned out that don't participate because, it's gonna be business as usual. But being engaged, I love the music, being engaging the people, making it interesting, exciting. So I just want to say that at the very least, we should give the CPDM a run for their money. At the very least, we should be thinking of, a 10 region strategy coming up. The diaspora, and I did send you a message on WhatsApp. I don't want to talk about something. The diaspora has been very instrumental in bringing change in a lot of African countries. The diaspora has been the people, the military, people who are not from the diaspora in African countries, usually the military that does, but the other countries that bring about change through the democratic process, usually the diaspora has a lot to play. And we need to show Cameroonians that we're really serious as the diaspora. We do things differently, so we need to think about a 10 region strategy. We co-chair and plan, because what if we're told again that Paul Biya is dead? We have 90 days. What are we going to do? We need to activate a plan. But again, I just really want to congratulate Project C. I think what you guys are doing is great. You can count on my support. We're to mobilize and just keep going. This is just to give, put wind on your wings. Keep going. You're on the right path. And this is the infrastructure, very importantly. Leopold talked about the process. The process is very important. It's as important as the objective. And this is the process we're talking about, those creating those partnerships, the coalition, the infrastructure. There's an infrastructure that's needed to bring about change. And this is what Project C is doing. And you go down in history as doing a very important. So thank you.
Yeah, Array, if I may just piggyback on something Ma Ndua said. I told you, you just gave the title I was looking for. So, but thank you for that. Let me just add something that she talked about the diaspora. I really think we have to continue to call this out, right? The Cameroonian diaspora is still very divided. I'm yet not impressed compared to other countries. The Cameroonian diaspora needs to, we, let me not say they, we need to step up better. The Cameroonian diaspora is talking more than performing. That is real. And when you start to read the papers, what is happening in Ethiopia, in Benin, and other diasporans stepping up, we are underperforming. I don't know what we need to do, but we need to, this is not an accusation, this is a call for action for every Cameroonian in the diaspora around the world. We need to step up because our people need us. The good news is, several years ago, there was a divide between Cameroon and the diaspora. I think Cameroonians are coming with Project C. We're starting to realize a unity. The infrastructure that Maundwa talked about is coming together. And I'm feeling a connection, a unity with Cameroonians at home and Cameroonians abroad. That divide is going away, which means that our families, our people in Cameroon are starting to build expectation for us to help save them. Now, if that unity is coming and diaspora does not step up financially, in other, intellectually, in putting this together, then we'll fail. But we're not going to let it happen, because I know Cameroonians in the diaspora have been frustrated. So this is not an accusation. This is saying, brothers and sisters, this is a new time. Your frustration that you've had, it's time to put it behind you because Project C is giving us a roadmap, a very objective, non-aligned roadmap focused on nothing but Cameroon. Most Project C people, we're not here because we want to be part of the government. We're not even experts in government. Even if you give me a role, I can't do it because that's not my expertise. And so most of us are here because we want to help bring change. So please, I'm calling on Cameroonians in the diaspora to put your frustrations behind and give Project C a chance. Give us a chance because we're taking a path that is far different than it's ever existed. But we need you. We need every Cameroonian in the diaspora. The last thing I will mention, if there's anything that I wake up and worry about our project, is money. Because at the end of the day, we have to talk money. This is a huge project for us. And we are calling on the diaspora to dig deep. Whether it's $10, it's $1,000, it's $10,000. This is time to start thinking how you will support this movement, because there's a lot we have to do. We have to fly in chiefs, people who can afford it, to be part of that 1,000 delegates. I know Aria may be taking some things here, but let me just support my call for funding.
That's exactly
we have to fly the young Cameroonians who cannot afford to be in the room wherever we're going to be meeting. We have to sponsor, and Aria is going to talk about this 1,000 youths. There's one project that I just saw, the budget is showing $20,000 just on one aspect. This money, we need money. At the end of the day, we can love everything we're doing here, but Cameroonians in the diaspora and in Cameroon, the Cameroonians in Cameroon who can also support if they can afford. But we have to be able to channel funds to the various areas, because we cannot call upon Cameroonians we know don't have money. So this is the big elephant in the room that we're not talking about. And I wanted to just bring it up informally. I know there will be a formal group talking about it, but I wanted to make sure that this excitement that we are building, we also know the big elephant in the room that must make this happen. It will happen because we will do it. Cameroonians will come together. We're going to step up, and at the end of the day, Cameroonians in the diaspora will come up with a unique system that other African countries will follow. But for right now, the other countries in the diaspora is outbidding us in what we're doing. But we'll get there. Thank you.
Leopold,
juste pour appuyer ce que Chris a dit de très important, juste en marge de cela, la diaspora camerounaise, nous devons lui faire confiance, et nous, à Project C, c'est ce que nous sommes en train de faire, et c'est ce que Chris vient de rappeler. Nous avons besoin vraiment de cet appui-là. Et ça fait penser que dans d'autres pays africains, on voit l'importance, l'apport de sa diaspora quand on lui fait confiance. Citons le cas du Bénin. En 30 jours, ils ont eu l'appel, les banques. Ils avaient besoin de 125 milliards de francs CFA. En 30 jours, ils ont levé 151 milliards de la diaspora du Bénin. Imaginons...
Le Burkina Faso, non?
Le Burkina, pardon, le Burkina Faso, sorry, merci, le Burkina Faso. Et la diaspora camerounaise, quand elle le voudra, et c'est ce à quoi nous l'invitons, elle doit se lever pour pouvoir prendre les choses en main, et c'est une question de confiance, et puis nous sommes en bonne voie, et Project C est le bon exemple pour cela, avec la transparence que nous affichons depuis l'année dernière, pendant la campagne présidentielle et autres, avec C'est-à-dire que il y a une responsabilité, une transparence dans tous nos processus. Merci, 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 Chris. Vraiment...
Et puisqu'on parle de la diaspora et le rôle que joue la diaspora, Léopold, je tenais quand même aussi à dire merci à la fondation, les deux fondations, Pacha Foundation et les Mo Foundation, qui ont organisé un voyage médical au Cameroun où plus de 3000 personnes se sont présentées. Ça s'est passé à Santa. Plus de 3000 personnes ces 3 derniers jours sont passés. Organisés par la diaspora, ils ont reçu plus de 3000 personnes et chacun qui est venu avec telle ou telle plainte est reparti avec des médicaments. I don't know if any of you knows this, but there's a major medical mission in Santa over the last 3 days. It ended today, actually. And each day they received about 3,000 people with medication, arranged by the leaders of these two foundations, which are based in the United States, the Pacha Foundation and the Mo Foundation. Just thought I'd throw that in as part of what the diaspora is doing, and we really need to call them out and be grateful to all those who are supporting those activities.
Thanks, Eric. Before I pass the floor to Christian Tabising, I just want to emphasize again, I have put into the chat here the links to donate to the Project Cameroon. I was mentioning that in the last week, we have been investing in communications across the country. And even with the video that you just watched, there's payments that are going to be made in terms of mastering and mixing the music, the production of it to do. So there's a cost to all of this, the bloggers that we're working with, but we're also working with young people in Cameroon. I think we're beginning next week, we're going to start training a team of leaders from all regions of Cameroon. And I know Amindoa mentioned a 10-region strategy. This is a 30 million strategy. I mean, we have to think of Cameroon beyond the boundaries that we have put on ourselves. We have to think about the individuals of our country. And our goal is to open this up to every Cameroonian everywhere. You will not be defined by your tribe. You will not be defined by your region, not by your language, but you will be defined as a human being that originates from the confines of the territory of Cameroon. And even those who have never set foot in Cameroon, who support Project Cameroon, are welcome to be part of this. So we're going to have at least 700, almost 1,000 young people on the ground in Cameroon that we'll start training next week. And they are going to go door to door. They're going to go to village, to the market squares. They're going to go to Njangi houses. They would go to churches. Unfortunately, now they would go with music, and they would communicate to these people about what we're trying to do. They're not going to have any badges. They're not going to wear any political uniforms. All they would present themselves as the Cameroon of the future. And they will appeal to the older generation as well as the younger generation to give peace and prosperity a chance in Cameroon. And all that they would ask of people, not gold and silver, they would ask them to contribute their voice, just their voice, by taking a survey that we want 300,000 people to take. And I hope that we can honestly get 1 million people participate in that survey. And as a result of those surveys, we can begin to share with you the aspirations of the Cameroonian people. And after that, we're going to bring experts who will come together and be able to draft or propose to the lawyers what kind of constitution that we need as a country. Whether it is 240 official languages that we need to have as a country to be able to respect everyone's culture, those are all things that we need, will be captured in this service. For that to happen, right? This has never happened. This is historic. This is different. So for that to happen, yes, Chris mentioned, we need money. We need your help. We need everyone's support. We need $24,000 to get this ground game going across the country in the next 2 weeks. With your help, we can do it. If everybody we have 4 million Cameroonians in the diaspora, 4 million. If each one of us gave 10,000, just $10, just $10. If each one of us gave $10, we will be able to even build the next hydroelectrical dam in Cameroon, like the people in Ethiopia did, raising money to build their own hydroelectricity dam without taking any loan from anywhere. We can do
it. Et surtout le faire marcher après.
Pardon?
Et surtout le faire marcher après, parce que
justement, il suffit pas de.
Oui, c'est le pays le plus électrifié sur le continent aujourd'hui. Grâce à Guibé, ce barrage à Guibé, que les Éthiopiens eux-mêmes ont financé et construit.
So we can do this. So I'm asking everybody who is here today or who is watching, if you felt it in your soul that this is the journey we should be on, you can visit our website, you can donate. And if you are in Cameroon, please reach out to Project Cameroon. I put the WhatsApp link there, and send me a private message. We will be able to reach out to you, and we'll coordinate to make sure that your contribution is included. I know, again, this is not against government. This is not against anybody. But if you want to be anonymous in this process, we would be there. We will respect that wish for you to be anonymous. But we hope, honestly, that everyone can participate in this process. We will be wrapping up in the next 20 minutes, 20 minutes, just under 20 minutes here. I would open up for feedback. I'll give to Christian Tabisin, and then to my good friend Jean-Marie, who I'm always very happy to see when he joins us. Christian.
Chrétien, tu as la parole.
Bonsoir à tout le monde. Oui, c'est toujours avec un grand plaisir que l'on se retrouve le samedi après-midi. En fait, je ne vais pas rajouter grand-chose sur tout ce qui a été dit, hein. Mais je voulais tout simplement rappeler qu'en réalité, le Cameroun n'a pas de problème, du moins dans sa forme actuelle, n'a pas de problème économique. En réalité, je pense que nous avons tout le potentiel qu'il y a pour pouvoir effectivement régler tous les problèmes que vous venez de soulever, ou du moins en grande partie. En grande partie. Alors, ce qui m'intéresse, et je vais peut-être enfoncer les portes ouvertes, c'est de dire tout simplement que ce que Project C est en train de faire, c'est quelque chose d'inédit. Et je voudrais que nous restions sur cette voie. Quelque chose d'inédit en ce sens que nous sommes, de par un peu, je dirais, les idées fondatrices, nous sommes en train d'évoluer vers ce qu'on pourrait appeler une conférence constitutionnelle. Le problème du Cameroun à la date d'aujourd'hui, c'est le problème de sa structure, de ses institutions. C'est-à-dire, en fait, la fondation de l'État du Cameroun. Dès lors que nous aurons défini clairement, et quand je dis nous, dès lors que les Camerounais, tous ensemble, hein, se sentiront responsables d'y avoir participé, que c'est leur État, il y a beaucoup de choses qui vont se décliner. Donc, il se trouve qu'à la date d'aujourd'hui, l'État du Cameroun tel qu'il est conçu aujourd'hui ne découle pas de la volonté des Camerounais. Nous pouvons faire tous les projets économiques que nous voulons, nous pouvons faire tous les projets sur la santé, faire tout ce que nous voulons, dès lors que les Camerounais ne se sentiront pas concernés par tout ce qui est en train d'être fait. Nous allons continuer à vivre ce que nous sommes en train de vivre à la date d'aujourd'hui. Et je le dis d'autant plus à l'aise que moi aussi, je suis l'un de ceux qui ont participé à la réflexion de plusieurs pans de la société camerounaise, que ce soit dans le domaine social, que ce soit dans le domaine économique, que ce soit... Mais en réalité, in fine, ce n'est pas ça le problème. Nous devons revenir. Et ça, je pense que projet C devrait s'y atteler. Personne, en dehors de ce qui a failli se faire en 1961, personne n'a demandé aux Camerounais quelle forme de l'État, que voulez-vous faire de votre État. Dès lors que les Camerounais auront tous ensemble autour de l'idée de projet C, on se réunit tous ensemble, on définit le Cameroun de demain. Celui que nous voulons, vous allez voir, tous les projets vont en découler. L'économie, la santé, bref, tout le reste, hein, le social, il va en découler. Donc, je tenais, excusez-moi peut-être de revenir sur un certain nombre de choses qui ont été dites, puisque c'est l'idée même, maîtresse de projet C, d'ailleurs. Mais de temps en temps, bon, je veux dire, ne nous perdons pas, mettons les moyens qu'il faut pour rassembler le maximum de Camerounais, pour pouvoir, je ne sais pas comment on va se retrouver, dès lors que les Camerounais vont savoir, les autres, même ceux qui ne participent pas, vont savoir que les Camerounais se sont retrouvés à un endroit pour redéfinir refonder leur État. Je peux vous assurer que ça va faire un choc dans la tête des Camerounais et vous allez voir beaucoup de choses qui vont se décoincer et je pense que ce sera la voie ouverte à beaucoup de choses. Les projets économiques, bon, les infrastructures, le Cameroun dans l'électricité, c'est l'un des pays les plus nantis hydrauliquement en Afrique. Donc, il n'y a pas de problème là-dessus. Dès lors qu'on est tous d'accord, on va y travailler. Il y a les outils. La diaspora, alors là, n'en parlons plus. Je pense que Léopold l'a dit tout à l'heure. On va trouver les moyens. Il y a de l'argent. Il y a même de l'argent au Cameroun. C'est l'un des rares pays où on peut détourner 5 000 milliards, 10 000 milliards, 50 000 milliards. Ça ne touche personne. Ça veut dire qu'il y a de l'argent. Il y a de l'argent. Donc, le problème, il n'est pas là. Donc, vraiment, merci beaucoup, Aré. Merci de m'avoir passé la parole. C'est toujours un grand plaisir. Hein? Petit coucou spécial à Eric, hein? Mon frère qui m'abandonne de temps en temps, mais bon, c'est pas grave. Ça, c'est les problèmes de famille. Donc, c'est tout ce que je voulais dire. Que vraiment, cette conférence constitutionnelle que nous voulons faire et surtout associer les Camerounais de tout horizon, c'est ça la clé. C'est ça la clé, de mon point de vue. Merci.
Ok, merci, Chrétien, merci. Un petit bémol quand même. Le Cameroun qui perd 10 000, 5 000 milliards, 50 000 milliards, ça ne touche personne. Là, tu parlais pour toi, hein, parce que ça touche beaucoup.
Non, les Camerounais ne s'en plaignent même pas. La preuve.
Okay. On s'est compris. Merci.
Ouais. Merci beaucoup, Christian, pour les mots que tu as partagés avec nous aujourd'hui. Et je vais maintenant passer la parole à Jean-Marie. Jean-Marie.
Oui, merci. Bonjour à tout le monde. heureux de participer à ce Zoom où des choses merveilleuses se disent. Et ça aurait été bien si nous provenions d'un pays normal. J'allais dire que ce serait quelque chose de fantastique. Mais comme nous ne sommes pas dans un pays normal, j'ai des larmes aux yeux en écoutant tout le monde. On sent la voix du cœur. Tout le monde parle avec beaucoup d'amour. Quand je réécoute Eric, et comme Chrétien Tabeting, qui on s'est vu il n'y a pas longtemps au Cameroun, je crois qu'il est au Cameroun, mais bon, ce n'est qu'une ambition, un rêve. Nous espérons qu'il devienne réalité. Et moi, je vais vous dire que nous n'avons pas en face des êtres normaux. Ça, je vous l'aurais dit. Ces gars-là, je ne sais pas. On ne peut composer avec personne de ce régime-là, sauf si certains font semblant de soutenir le régime alors qu'ils ne le soutiennent pas. Mais moi, de mes informations, on ne peut pas espérer quelque chose tant que ces gars sont aux affaires. Parce que la démarche conçue par Projet C, voulue et espérée, voudrait que nous soyons en position de pouvoir ou d'influencer les choses pour que cette ambition de mettre sur pied, de faire voter une nouvelle constitution soit appliquée. Mais ce n'est pas possible tant que ces gens sont aux affaires. Et pendant que nous travaillons sur ce projet, ils sont en train de préparer l'arrivée au pouvoir du successeur désigné, à savoir Paul Biya, avec son gouvernement. Ils sont en train de prévoir Maître Atanganji, Premier ministre, Maître des Durs, Bankui à la DGRE, et d'autres gens qui peuvent donc effacer tout individu qui peut broncher, que ce soit les Camerounais de la diaspora ou ailleurs. La DGRE va jouer dans son rôle d'effacer les Camerounais qui ont la tête dure comme les Haré, les Tchingé, c'est-à-dire que la DGRE va aller à l'étranger pour tuer les gens comme ils ont tué Punjawe et d'autres, et les Guérandi. Donc, voilà les stratégies. Ça fait que, en écoutant ce projet noble et ambitieux qui témoigne d'un Cameroun idéal, comme ce que tout le monde pouvait souhaiter, personnellement, je suis, je dirais pas dubitatif. Puis,
ok. On te comprend très bien, Jean-Marie. Juste pour répondre sur cet aspect précis, c'est deux choses. Nous sommes dans le processus donc, de la convention constitutionnelle. Nous demandons aux Camerounais quel Cameroun ils veulent. Qu'est-ce qui leur convient le plus? On n'est plus dans les constats. Les constats sont faits. Ça, c'est la faisabilité et nous disons que nous pouvons le faire et nous allons le faire. Avoir un nouveau draft de la Constitution après dépouillement de tout ce que les Camerounais auront dit, des experts vont s'asseoir pour drafter une nouvelle Constitution. Le deuxième aspect que tu as soulevé et qui fait justement l'objet de ce doute-là, et que l'on comprend très bien, la mise en œuvre de cette constitution, c'est un autre volet, c'est une autre dimension. Project C ne s'en occupe pas. Nous sortons un document, nous disons voici ce que les Camerounais veulent pour le Cameroun, pour la postérité. Maintenant, demain, tu as cité des noms, Franck Biya et tout le reste là. Ça peut mettre plus loin parce que le processus, c'est plus ouvert même qu'on ne peut imaginer. Quel que soit celui qui sera en position de gouverner le pays, les Camerounais lui diront, voici
la Constitution.
Ce que nous voulons comme pays, qui qu'il soit. Voilà un peu.
OK.
Mais Jean-Marie, ça va aussi servir comme référence. On n'a jamais posé cette question aux Camerounais.
Ça, c'est vrai.
Mais même si, en fin de compte, l'objectif, c'est qu'on se réunit pour une fois, pas pour les élections et pas pour le pouvoir.
C'est ça.
Ça, c'est l'objectif. Pas pour les élections, parce que quand il y a des élections, on a vu, il y avait un grand mouvement des Camerounais. Mais cette fois-ci, ce n'est pas des élections qui nous intéressent. Ce n'est même pas le pouvoir qui nous intéresse. Ça peut être Franck Biya. Qui est au pouvoir, ça ne m'intéresse pas. On n'est pas intéressé à qui gouverne même le Cameroun. Ce qu'on est intéressé est donner l'opportunité aux Camerounais de réfléchir ensemble, de partager ensemble, de discuter, de se réconcilier, parce qu'il faut parler de ça. Ensemble, développer la vision qu'on veut, quelle nation que nous voulons. Ça peut sortir comme dans un papier, le messager. Ça va revenir aux Camerounais. Ça revient aux Camerounais de faire dans quoi il s'agit avec ce qu'on va leur proposer. Mais ça viendra des Camerounais, pas des politiciens. Ça viendra des Camerounais de tous les niveaux, pas les Camerounais qui sont au pouvoir.
Tout à fait.
Peut-être c'est nouveau, peut-être c'est quelque chose qu'on n'est pas habitué, mais je pense, je vais dire ça et je dis souvent ça. If you go to a dentist that you have pain in your tooth,
yes,
and the dentist gives you pain killers, and you come back every month or every 2 months and they give you painkillers, you have then, the problem is not the pain in your tooth. The problem is that there is decay in the roots of your tooth that needs to be replaced. This project, if we only focus on elections and who is in power, we'll be doing what we've done for 65 years. We're trying to do something different that will give new aspiration and independence, true independence to the Cameroonian people. That's what we're trying to do. And it's up to them. It is up to the Cameroonian people. I'm sure when the Andre Mbidas of Cameroon, the Omniobes, the John Guffontes were dreaming of an independent country, people must have said they were crazy. To come from nowhere, you have no guns, you have no money, you know, standard 6 school teacher to run a country. They would have thought that they're crazy. And so we may not have any power, we have no money, but what we're blessed with is God's given talent to think and dream of a new Cameroon. And that's our power.
Et Jean-Marie, nous ne pouvons pas continuer ce combat contre ceux qui ne veulent pas le changement au Cameroun. Nous ne pouvons pas, si nous n'avons rien à convaincre les Camerounais. Il faut qu'on ait un travail déjà réalisé qui nous permette donc de pouvoir discuter avec la population, avoir une conversation avec les Camerounais, avant même de proposer quoi que ce soit à la population. Donc, moi, je crois que, enfin, c'est ce travail que nous sommes en train de faire en amont et on saura donc une fois avec un document qui réunit les idées des Camerounais, on saura donc, on passera aux prochaines étapes pour aller vers l'exécution ou l'implémentation de cette constitution.
D'accord. Bon, voilà. Effectivement, si pris sous cet angle-là, je suis d'avis. Je suis d'avis avec vous. Je pense que on devrait évidemment mobiliser et consulter certains leaders. Tout à l'heure, Aré parlait d'André Marie Mbida. Il y a quelques souches qui sont encore là, même au niveau de l'UPC, mais il y a des partis corrompus, comme les bas Paul Biya aujourd'hui. Bon, quelle peut être leur contribution? Je pense que la raison trouve tout son être dans la mesure où tout ce qui a toujours été proposé, que ce soit la nouvelle, la fameuse révision là, elle a été faite par l'État. Donc, c'est une innovation. C'est une innovation que tout individu normal ne peut que souhaiter encourager, n'est-ce pas, et afin de faciliter et contribuer à l'aboutissement. On pourrait également s'intéresser à quelques magnats de la finance et de l'économie qui peuvent, pourquoi pas, contribuer au financement d'une telle opération. Il y a des gens ici qui font des dons pour des choses inutiles et qui pourraient bien financer une telle opération, pourquoi pas. Donc, je pense qu'il faut qu'on essaye de penser aussi à ce niveau-là. Je vais voir personnellement qu'est-ce que je peux proposer. Ça, c'est une dimension. Une dimension. Je voulais parler de la dimension marketing de l'opération, même si ici il ne s'agit pas de ce type de marketing-là, mais en montrant à certains acteurs de l'économie, certaines zones d'affaires, l'importance pour le Cameroun d'avoir une bonne constitution, ça leur permettrait de vivre désormais dans un pays où ils ne vont pas toujours crouler sous le poids des impôts, ils auront une meilleure justice qui défend
de vivre dans un pays normal. De vivre dans un pays normal.
Voilà, je pense qu'on peut trouver même les financements qui font problème.
Merci beaucoup, Jean-Marie.
Merci beaucoup, Jean-Marie. Thank you. Thank you. I want to open up to see if there's any other contribution from anyone else before we wrap up here today.
No, Cardo just sent in some contribution. I just want to hear these ladies speak, because when they do, there's so much intelligence in what they say. Cardo, I know you had something, you said it, I read it. It'd be nice to hear your voices.
No, I was just agreeing with Ari, because sometimes, it's not about the power. I think the more we mobilize in all regions, like everybody has said, the power comes with the people. So we're not looking for power, but once we get those people mobilized, educated, and they understand in the villages and around the urgency of what's happening, I think we get the power that can change things. So I'm totally agreeing. We can't just be solving the problems. To Ari's point, he described it so perfectly. I'm in the medical field. So you have to solve that root cause instead of just working on the symptoms all the time. If you keep treating the pain and you don't treat the infection, you're going to stay there. So we have to solve the underlying problem. The people are the ones who would solve that problem once they understand.
Yeah, absolutely.
The importance is so, yeah.
Absolutely. So, we're going to, so again, to get back to Jean-Marie's point, we need to go, the marketing of it could be one hurdle that we'll look at, but we can't if we don't have the product. So let's have the product, have it clean, and then we now move to the next level. And it is that level that will ultimately take us to the new Cameroon we want. I have no doubt about it. So let's go step by step. Let's do what we have to do now, which is collect the evidence, collect the data, pull the materials together. But for us to do all of this, of course, there's a need for funding. And it's one thing I have no ability to talk about, but I think, if I can talk about it, I can also talk about it.
Yes, please.
Elizabeth is not here. Kenny is not here. A number of the money people are not here. But yes, we're going to need...
Kenny is here with us today, so...
Yeah, we're definitely going to need some resources, and I hope we get to it, we are right there already. Because time to start training, sending people out, collecting the data, processing the data, all of that. It's upon us. So we need to move quite quickly.
Yeah, I want to thank. This is the power of what we're doing. I want to thank. J'aimerais remercier Redosé Numbu, qui nous rejoint de la village de Bafou, dans le département de la Ménois, à l'ouest du Cameroun. Parce que le pouvoir du Cameroun n'est pas seulement à Yaoundé. C'est partout. Chaque Camerounais est le pouvoir du Cameroun. Donc, nous voulons aller au-delà des grandes villes, des cités. On veut que ceux qui vivent dans les parties enclavées du Cameroun faire objet de cet engagement, cette discussion large que nous sommes en train de vouloir commencer dans les semaines qui viennent. D'engager dans les semaines qui viennent. Et on a vraiment besoin de tout le monde et la soutien de tous les Camerounais, que ce soit d'une manière financière ou même la participation et redoser le nombre dans ce village. Vous pouvez nous aider à faire en sorte que les Camerounais qui vivent à Bafou participent aussi massivement dans les enquêtes qu'on va mener pour demander quel Camerounais nous voulons. Quel Cameroun nous voulons.
Même traduire les questions dans les langues locales.
Oui, dans les langues locales, utiliser la radio locale pour partager, inviter les gens à participer. So I'm going to stop here now. It's 3 hours that we have been going, 3 hours that we're and probably just going to end with the video that we premiered here today. And I want to thank Uncle B. I want to thank Ben for bringing that to life with us here today. But we'll end up with that music, and if it inspires you, visit projectcameroon.com, make a donation. But we will be sharing this on all our platforms, and hopefully it sparks a conversation in our country in the next few months. So once more, let me play this again so that we can.
Just before you do, I was just wondering if Eniepo could just give us a sense of what is good. He's covering the national territory, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
With his team. Maybe Eniepo could just, talk to us, and then before we go, Le Père Janvier, who is in Mexico, maybe he has something to say. But I think it's important that Eniepo just reassures everybody about the ground coverage.
Yeah. And to note that I've also been having requests from other groups that are wanting to get involved. So that number is going to grow. We're going to have volunteers. It always begins by rolling out that first stone down the hill. And the rolling stone gathers a lot of moss with it. So when we talk about this, it's going to be thousands. It's going to be thousands of people across the country that will be doing this. So I don't know. I reached out to him to find out whether he wanted to share some thoughts. Okay. Yes, he's here. Okay.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you're playing this program from. It's once more an honor to be in the midst of great Cameroonians who are doing so much for our beloved country. Barrister Ari, I will sincerely appreciate, the great job you're doing. I'm bothering you so much. I remember some time ago, some few days ago, you couldn't sleep because I, was asking a lot of questions and you were there to respond. We do appreciate that. Mr. Eric, I do appreciate you and everybody that is involved in this process. So I'm a Nepo Omega.
Okay, so go ahead. I'm sorry about that.
Okay, yeah. So as far as Project C is concerned, we are doing so much mobilization on ground to ensure that we get to all the 10 regions, to all the 58 divisions and all the 360 subdivisions in Cameroon, because we really want everybody to be part of this process. We want to hear from the farmers, we want to hear from traders, we want to hear from parents who sleep at night and wondering about the future of their children and all the like. So really want to get everybody involved, and sure, we have a team on ground, but I followed Kumleonat and other platforms where they've been sharing about Project C, and I've had people who be like, how can I be part of this? I really want to be part. So I've reached out to some of them to know how and their location so that we can equally incorporate them in the team and we work together to achieve, this journey together. So I think we are still open. Some people are attending this for the first time. Those that are in Cameroon, please do reach out to Barrister Are or any of the committee so that we can get connected and do this all together. So we are mobilizing, we are doing everything possible so that the project is felt across the Republic of Cameroon like none other. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Eric. Thank you for reminding me to bring him up. Nyepo, thank you so much for all you are doing, and please don't worry, you never bother me. We're here to make this happen. So please reach out anytime. I would always find time to.
Thank you.
Yeah. This is going to or just on this call, I've had two other groups that have expressed, not individuals, but groups that we want to join, we want to be involved. Just so that you all know, in the last week we had 4 really popular bloggers carry the announcement of this campaign with videos, and this information we're sharing with you has reached millions of Cameroonians in the last week, because these were very popular bloggers, and you could see from anybody could go and you can see the questions that people are asking, the excitement that is generating, and how people are eager to participate in this. And that's the test of what's happening. People are yearning for something positive. So there we encourage people to, everybody, this is for everybody, join us, be involved. I don't know who else before okay, Père Janvier.
Bonjour Alain, bonjour Eric, bonjour Christophe, bonjour Léopold, bonjour tout le monde. Il y a Chrétien là qui a levé la main depuis, c'est parce qu'il...
Non, Chrétien déjà, il a déjà...
Il a déjà parlé, bon, sa main est toujours debout. Donc je pense que, premièrement, je voudrais remercier chacun d'entre nous, afin que Yaoundé ne pense pas que les choses sont derrière nous, les choses sont encore devant nous. Ça fait plus de 5 mois que nous tenons le coup et nous sommes appelés à tenir le coup. Je suis très, très content de l'analyse que Aré a fait. Mais la question qui me taraude le cerveau, quel est le remède pour soigner le mal de Yaoundé? Donc, ça dit que comment les faire comprendre qu'ils sont sur un chemin, sur un mauvais chemin. Parce que ce qu'ils font aujourd'hui, ils peuvent croire qu'ils font seulement contre d'autres personnes. Mais c'est contre tous les Camerounais, même les enfants, même les petits-enfants. Et je crois que, comme je l'ai dit la dernière fois que j'ai eu l'occasion d'être ici, là, nous devons resserrer les rangs. Nous devons resserrer les rangs. Tous ces programmes que chacun est en train de faire, comme cette enquête qu'on va faire, il faudrait bien le diffuser, que les Camerounais soient au courant, qu'ils puissent faire un feedback afin que nous puissions savoir vraiment quel est le remède pour soigner Yaoundé, pas Yaoundé des malades. Quand je parle du pouvoir. C'est son pouvoir.
Père Janvier.
Oui.
Merci déjà. Et la réponse est très simple. La réponse à ta question, quel remède il faut pour Yaoundé? Eh bien, c'est ce que nous allons justement demander aux Camerounais, chacun où il se trouve. À travers ces sondages, à travers les questions qui vont être posées, franchement, nous serons en mesure d'apporter des éléments de réponse à la question que tu as posée. Les Camerounais eux-mêmes diront quel est le remède qu'il faut. Pas que pour Yaoundé, mais en fait, c'est pour le Cameroun. Parce que dans la communication, il y a quelque chose de particulier. C'est qu'à force d'écouter quelqu'un, quand on écoute, on prend patiemment la peine d'écouter quelqu'un, dans sa plainte, en général, il donne des éléments de réponse à son problème qu'il pose. Donc, nous sommes confiants, les Camerounais vont donner les réponses à la question que tu as posée. Très importante, mais pas que Yaoundé, mais c'est en fait tout le Cameroun, parce que quelqu'un a dit quelque part que tant que Yaoundé respire, le Cameroun vit. Donc, je n'en dirai pas plus.
Thank you very much, Leopold.
Bon, merci. Je pense que on a compris ce que j'ai dit, qu'on doit se resserrer les rangs.
Absolument, c'est clair.
On doit se resserrer les rangs, diffuser au maximum le possible cette enquête afin que tous nous puissions répondre et qu'on puisse analyser, trouver la réponse. Merci, Harry.
Absolument, Père.
Merci beaucoup, Père Janvier. Pour répondre à toutes ces questions, on a cette vidéo qu'on va jouer, la musique, écouter le son, mais surtout le message. We'll play this one more time, and then after this, we'll to close. But before I go, I really want to thank everyone for being here today, for your contributions, for your support. We need your help. We need everyone, everywhere. Your contribution, no matter how small, even if it means that after this call, you call a friend and talk to them about this initiative and ask them to help one way or the other, even if they're in Cameroon, in the diaspora. We need everybody's help to be able to do this for our country, once and for all, for everyone, for the future. We have to believe in something different. And this is what we're asking you to do. Let's free ourselves from the shackles of this last 65 years. And we do that by rethinking Cameroon. I know that this is the most difficult part. It's not whether we can implement it. The most difficult part is if we can free our minds to believe in what we are doing.
Exactement.
I feel liberated. I feel very, very liberated because I have gotten to that point. There is no Yaoundé in my mind that can stop me to get to where I am. And if we could liberate ourselves, if everybody could liberate themselves, then it's not Yaoundé. It's Cameroon. It's our future that we're seeking to build. That's what we need from with this. And that's what we're playing this music. And we will come back here next week with even more information. But please join the WhatsApp group. Donate on our website. All through this week, we will be communicating so that by the time we get to next week, when we're launching the survey next week, we'll launch the survey here next Saturday. And that will be fascinating. And we'll have our people on the ground working, but we need everyone's help. Eniepo, you have your hand up. Do you have an announcement to make?
Yes, Senator, I have something to say.
Tells me, Senator. Have all titles. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to request that those the groups you're talking about or individuals that might have reached out to you, you can please connect us so that we build a team ahead of the launching officially.
Yes, we are going to begin training next week. So the leaders of those groups will be part of the training. So that because we have to train the leaders, we're training the 10 regions, then the 58.
Exactly.
58 divisions. And then those 58 would go now and do the training for the 360 subdivisions. That's the plan. It's happening, my people. It's happening. So get involved. So I will end here with this music and yeah. Can you all see my screen?
For decades, Cameroonians have watched us hope slip through our fingers. Decisions about our future made behind closed doors. Our voices drowned out by power in politics again and again. We have been told who we are and what we must accept. Cameroon's destiny has been shaped by others. Cameroonians are waking up and demanding change. What kind of country do we want? What makes us Cameroonian? The soul of Cameroon is shaped not by what divides us, but by what unites us. Oh, what kind of country do we want? What makes us Cameroonian? Imagine a movement not of politicians, but of people. Imagine every corner of this country, every hamlet, village, town, city, every region, rising together with one purpose, not for emulation, not for power, but for one nation, once and for all. Imagine putting country over self, love over hate. Cameroon, not tribe, language, not region. The soul of Cameroon is shaped not by what divides us, but by what unites us. Imagine a movement not of politicians, but of people. This is not a dream, this is Project C. Imagine the street vendors, the motorcycle taxi drivers, the trade unions, traditional rulers, professionals, and the diaspora, working together everywhere for something bigger than any one of us. Oh, for the first time we, the people, will come together to answer the hardest, most important questions. How do we finally lay to rest the ghost of the past and create a future where every citizen belongs? Over the next 4 months, we will listen, we will debate, we will draft a new constitution. Oh, one that reflects our diversity, our dreams, our determination to build a Cameroon of dignity, peace, and prosperity. This is a movement born of the people, for the people. No more decisions made for us, without us. No more waiting for permission to hope. A new Cameroon is possible. impossible. Hey, not determined by our colonial past, but by our common future. Join the movement for a new Cameroon. This is Project C. This is a movement born of the people, for the people. A new Cameroon is possible. Join the movement for a new Cameroon. Join the movement for a new Cameroonian.
With that, I want to thank you all. We will be back next week. We will be launching this service next week. So stay tuned, everyone. Have a good weekend.
Thank you. Good weekend.